Hi everyone, it's Shar. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to my least favorite filming time, evening. Your girl was at work all day, but I have a list for you and I am excited to share it with you. There are some books releasing towards this very last part of 2023 that I am very excited about, and I figured I would share with you what is on my radar, what I'm looking forward to, and what I think might be interesting to you as well. Most of the books on this list are going to be romances, but I also love horrors and thrillers and all things spooky. So there will be a couple of those on this list as well, but without further ado, let's jump on it. The first book that I have to recommend to you is Bloom by Delilah S. Dawson. This is a sapphic romantic horror of sorts. In this book, you are following Rosemary, and Rosemary loves going to the farmer's market. I think she either sells at the farmer's market or she meets this woman who sells at the farmer's market, and her name is Ash, and Rosemary is very in love with Ash, perhaps a little obsessed with Ash, starts to be a little bit obsessive, but Ash may not be what she seems. From what I've seen in the review, someone said it's like sapphic you. I think that sounds so interesting. I love me a little bit of a romantic horror. I feel like that's a genre that's not super easy to find. So I'm very excited to read this, and this is coming out on October 3rd, the day after my birthday. Then I have Rook by Gillian Graves. Yes, you have seen me talk about this book before because it was supposed to come out in June, but it got pushed back to sometime in September or October. I'm assuming October, since September has already passed. This one doesn't have an official summary or official cover yet, but Rook follows the secretary of our main character in the first book. So the first book is Titan, and Titan is described as a gargoyle daddy dom romance. I really love Titans. You all know that I loved Titan. It is the story of this gargoyle who enters this relationship with a woman who has a relationship with someone else that he needs critical information from. That sounds very confusing. Just know that in this book, we're following Eden, who is the secretary of like this group of brothers who are the gargoyles, and she ends up with one of the brothers. If Titan is anything to go by, this is going to be very steamy, very erotic, very dom vibes, but also have a really great amount of fantasy and romance in it. So when this book does release, hopefully in October, no official publication yet, it just says October 2023, I'll be able to read it. Then I have Cleat Cute by Meryl Wisner. Now, you all know Meryl Wisner and I have that complicated past, right? I loved Something to Talk About, but hated Mistakes Were Made because I DNF'd it. I was like, this is not good. But Cleat Cute, I've been seeing make its rounds around TikTok, and it seems a lot of people have really enjoyed it. In this story, you are following Grace, and Grace is a worldwide soccer champion, like very, very well known. And she ends up getting injured, and she has to kind of sit on the sidelines while she's doing her injury recovery. So they hire someone to be Grace's replacement, like bring her on to the field. And the person they hire, or the person they bring on, is Phoebe. And Phoebe has always admired Grace, like has been her #1 fan. So to be on the same team as Grace is like a dream come true. They have an undeniable sexual chemistry. Grace is a little bit frustrated because obviously she doesn't want to be off the field, but she and Phoebe get together. And I love me a sapphic rom-com, and this is a sapphic sports romance rom-com. If that sounds like your thing, be excited with me. This is a book that technically already released. I'm not counting it on the official list, but I had to tell you about it. It only released recently. I think it released like last week. It released September 19th. Now, C.M. Nacosta has written other books and is releasing other books this year, and I had no idea. I think that C.M. Nacosta appears twice on this list. But let me tell you about the first book that I am excited about. This is T for, I cannot pronounce this word, so it's T for two, Welcome to Azeroth. Can't pronounce that word, so let's just call it As, which sounds like something, but as, not the other one. This is set in the same world as Canebrick Creek, and Canebrick Creek is the same world as the Morning Glory Milking Farm and Sweet Berries. It's a cute little town where mythical creatures and humans coexist, and lots of self-proclaimed monster fuckers. get to find their soulmates and their mates. So in this book, we're following Harper, and Harper is a witch. However, she's like a goth. She doesn't fit in with her coven. She feels very isolated from her coven, like she's on the outskirts of it, and she's looking for an escape. She just wants to be able to like retreat into her own little quiet world. So she goes to As, the tea shop, and she's just there reading her book and like having a good time, where she happens to run into As's reclusive and not very well-known owner. The owner is a shadow, and they and As have an immediate connection. There's like a warning in here that this book is super steamy, so I am so excited to read this. And this is a story between a female main character who's a witch and a non-binary shadow creature, which, listen, Sweet Berries and Morning Glory Milking Farm, if they're anything to go by, that should tell you what this book is going to be about. And this is coming out on September 29th. The fifth book on my list is Room for Rent by Noelle W. Healy. I can never pronounce this author's last name, but if this sounds familiar to you, this author wrote Run on Red, which is a page-turning thriller that people could not put down. It got some hype on TikTok earlier this year. I did not personally love this story, but there was enough in there that made me feel like maybe a different story with a different premise by this author could work for me. So in Room for Rent, we are following Naya. And Naya is a college student in her senior year. She is flat broke, and she can only afford to rent a room in this really creepy, like, shared apartment style situation. So she does that, and at first it's fine, but then like people start stealing her food, and someone is rattling her doorknob in the middle of the night, and someone is going through her things. She thinks it's her creepy as fuck roommate, Ash, but she might find out that something else may be at play, and perhaps Ash is not fully to blame. It becomes a fight for survival, and the tag literally says she has to find a way to survive the night. While I did not love Run on Red, I would say it was a page turner. It definitely had a very fast pace. I think this will be a really fun, quick book to read in spooky season in October. And this book is coming out on October 13th. My queen, Darcy Coates, is coming out with another book, which is wild because I feel like earlier this year she released her first thriller, Dead of Winter, I think. This is Where He Couldn't Find You. Where He Couldn't Find You is the story of two sisters. We have Abby and Hope. Now, Abby and Hope live in a town that's haunted by its past. People in this town have gone missing, and when they are found, only their bodies are found, cut up, and sewn back together. Because of this, Abby and her sister have very strict rules that they have to live by in order to be kept safe. However, Hope goes missing one day, and it becomes a frantic rush for Abby and her group of friends to find Hope before the Stitcher gets to them. People think that the Stitcher is a serial killer that's just not been caught yet, but that may not be true. And a serial killer or a human serial killer may not be the cause and may not be our Stitcher character. This sounds scary as fuck. It definitely is a horror story, and the whole premise of two sisters, like the way that the summary is described, made me feel like they were teenagers, but it is tagged very fully as an adult like horror novel. So I'm excited to see what Darcy Coates pulls out the bag, because this sounds fucking horrifying. It gave me Jeepers Creepers vibes. Don't know why. Let me know if you can see the connection between this book and Jeepers Creepers and why I might be associating the two. And the seventh book on this list is Technically Yours by Denise Williams. Denise Williams wrote one of my favorite romance novels of last year. Forgetting the name of it, but I really loved it. And Technically Yours is a second chance romance of sorts. In this book, we're following Pearl and we're following Core. Interesting character names. So Pearl is the director of this nonprofit called Our Code. And Our Code is a nonprofit that aims to teach young high school students to code so that they can have that as a skill set for their futures. Pearl's the director. She's like trying to do her thing. She's trying to make moves here until there's a new member of the board of directors on the team. And this member, she knows because she and him had a whirlwind romance many years ago. It was passionate, it was heated, they were both madly in love with each other. We don't know what happens, but we know that Pearl breaks his heart. And she has not been able to stop thinking about Cord since then. Cord has also been thinking about Pearl, but in negative ways. He fell in love with Pearl. She was everything that he would have wanted. Smart, passionate, intelligent, ambitious. Smart and intelligent are the same thing. Don't worry about it. But she was all of that. But she broke his heart, crushed it, and he vowed to never be in love again and to never have a serious relationship again. But they meet again at this nonprofit where he's now a member of the board of directors, and let's say the chemistry is still there. They are very much willing to try again to work through what happened in the past, but of course it's a complicated situation because their relationship could put Pearl's career in jeopardy. I don't typically love second chance romance, but quite honestly, this does sound really cute, and I'm super excited to read this when it comes out on December 5th. The premise of this one just made me laugh, okay? We're on the final 2 books on this list. This is Courted by the Dragon by Lillian Lark. Lillian Lark sounds familiar to you. She also sounds familiar to me. Can I tell you what she wrote? I cannot. Don't know. But was it the Gargoyles one? The polyamorous Gargoyles one that was really fucking steamy that I read in a 24-hour reading vlog? It might be. It might be. Anyway, Courted by the Dragon is a story of this thief and this dragon shifter. And she and this dragon don't have a great relationship. He's rich as fuck, but genuinely hates her fucking guts. But she's a thief, and what do dragons love doing but hoarding? So she breaks into his lair, his hoard, ends up stealing from his hoard, and also walks out pregnant with his baby. I've told you before, I fucking love how unserious monster romance is. Lillian Lark knows how to write a sex scene, so I just know the smut in here is going to be top notch. And I'm just excited to read it and to laugh. Like, the summary alone has cracked me up, and this book is coming out on December 29th. So very close to the end of the year, but just know it's gonna be the perfect end of year read. Let this be my final book that I read in 2023. This is slightly out of order, but also coming out on December 5th is The Fake Mate by Lana Ferguson. Now, Lana Ferguson wrote The Nanny, which is sitting right next to me on my dining room table, which I am planning to read in a vlog that you will see very soon. But The Fake Mate follows, it's a paranormal romance, it's a shifter romance, and we have 2 wolf shifters, right? They both work at a hospital, and in this world, shifters are normal, people have maids, and we're following Mackenzie. Now, Mackenzie just got out of residency. She's in her first year at the hospital, and her grandmother won't stop bothering her about whether or not she's found a mate. She's literally getting on Mackenzie's nerves. So Mackenzie just lies and says, you know what, yeah, I did find a mate. And her grandmother asks who, and she panics, and she blurts out the name of her work rival, who she does not have a positive relationship, Noah. Now, Noah is an alpha, he's a shifter, he also works in the field, and he and Mackenzie end up fake dating. Honestly, shifter paranormal romance with fake dating is all I need to hear. We have a little bit of dislike to love going on, but that is it. That is the end of my list. That is everything that I know of that is releasing within the next few months that I am super excited to get my hands on. That doesn't mean that I'm going to read them this year. It just means they're on my radar, and I want to put them on your radar in case you don't know about it. If there are any books that are releasing that I did not mention on this list that you are excited about, please do let me know. Or if there is something I mentioned on this list that you are also excited about, please let me know. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. It really does support me and this channel, and I'm gonna see you in my next video. Bye!